Welcome to the show with no name for April the 5th, 2013. I'm Bob Going with Jim Nikosha and the official grandfather of the show with no name, Gavin Murdoch. Congratulations, Gavin.
Thank you.
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
Tell us all about it for the folks who don't read you on Facebook.
My daughter Carrie, who lives in Kentucky, on Tuesday delivered a 6-pound, 8-ounce little boy, Robert Jesse Harris.
Robert Jesse.
Robert after my father.
Oh, wait a minute. I was going to say
You thought it was
your grandson's been grandson is named after me, about 62 years after me.
Yeah, it's named after his grandfather.
Yeah.
So very happy they're going to be getting out of the hospital today and going home and beginning the rest of his life.
Wow. Are they in Paducah proper or the suburbs?
They're in proper Paducah.
Wow.
They live down
And that's, as I recall, like right across the river from Ohio?
Yeah, it's as far away from New York State and Kentucky as you can get.
Oh, really? It's way at the other end?
Way down
So
south
it's like,
end of it.
like across from Illinois?
Yeah, way down.
Oh.
Way down south.
So almost to St. Louis?
Yeah, it's a pretty short ride for St. Louis up there. They go to ball games occasionally up there.
So they're Cardinals fans?
My son is a Yankee fan. He's maintained his roots.
Wow.
And he also is a Syracuse fan, even though he went to University of Kentucky.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he one team or the other is always in it. So this year he still got Syracuse in it. So
You know, I have not been able to catch any of the NCAA games, which I'm chagrined to say that because I usually enjoy them, and so I'm catching up afterwards, and I'm looking at these scores, and they look like rec league scores. That defense Syracuse has is out of this world.
Yeah. That 2-3 zone he runs.
And it's.
He said he
Until they figure out a way around it, they're revolutionizing the game.
Even though that's the only thing he's ever played.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They've done very well. They've got certainly have some.
I mean, how can you hold a 64 final 64 team to 38 points or whatever the heck it was? Holy moly!
39 points. They're tough.
Especially with the shot clock.
Yeah, and they end up using most of the shot clock against it because they have a very hard time penetrating it. So we'll see. Could be the year.
Well, you know, considering they lost 4 of the last 5 games of the season, they just woke up. They get an email from Charlie Crable or something, and
they got
told them it's time to.
It's time of year to get hot. So far they are. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and then the finals are Monday night.
Wow. Tomorrow, huh?
Yeah. And then Monday night will be the.
Is it tomorrow night or are they playing tomorrow?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night.
Oh, I guess I can catch it. I was thinking of running up to Shuttleworth Park and catching the Union College team. That should be a pretty good brand of baseball, and they're playing double headers both days, I guess,
Really?
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I saw Paul
at their new home field in Amsterdam, New York.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught that with the official granddaughter of the show with no name is
I don't think she was
sneaking in and out. She was off camera?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. So now we got official granddaughter, official grandson. That's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good deal. How was your holiday?
Oh, it was quiet. Nobody came home. Everybody left. Huh? What do you want, Laura?
We had a small.
What am I doing?
Dinner.
Okay, I can't tell you.
We only had 16 people, so.
Well, we went up to Lansing's on the Lake, where we haven't been in quite a long time. It's not that we don't patronize the family. It's just that in the summer, if we're going any place, we generally go to the Sport Island pub and sit on the patio and enjoy the water and such. So we haven't experienced the fine dining, and was it fine? Oh my goodness!
They do
good cooks.
They do a very good job. They do a very good job.
Pat McDermott's daughter waited on us, and
Kathleen.
She was terrific, terrific waitress, and. I was telling one of you off camera, I knew more people up there than I usually when I go to the market or go to church on Sunday. There was You know who was there that I haven't seen in years is Janice Cosentino, a regular watcher of the show with no name.
Yes.
Periodically sends comments about the show, so I know she's watching. And I was getting ready to leave, and it was just like the people waiting to come in. It was like one after another. It was people I know. Joe Manuel's parents were there, and in fact, his daughter Maria was waiting on tables there also. We didn't have her. We had them. So I knew all the waitresses too.
It's Amsterdam out of Amsterdam.
And then Vito and Mary Tambasco were right behind them. Our regulars at the Gwib, who used to watch us live, want to know. Everybody want to know, when are you going back on the air? When are we going back? Oh, that's so we never left. That's what and then I turn, and I'm like face to face with Janice, and I look at and I recognized her immediately because she's always updating her photo on Facebook. Yeah. So I mean, it was like she just like updated it a couple of days ago. So. I'm startled, and she looks up, and then she's startled. It was nice. We had a nice, 42-second reunion. And she was there with her family. Her daughter and son-in-law and grandson just moved up here from down south, so she's happy as a clam, having the grandson practically next door, or maybe they are next door. I don't know. I didn't get that deep into it in 42 seconds. And Leslie Lancy is there with her whole family. Louis was taking a busman's holiday, and on his day off, he's up at Lancy's having dinner. Her mother, Joan Pippino, was there, and her sister, Nancy Rad, and a couple of the kids, one of hers and one of hers. Kids, I don't know. Kids get scattered. I mean, this is like, I don't know, this might be the first holiday we've had when none of them were around. We took the mother-in-law out to dinner. So it was nice because we don't see her as much as we should, and she doesn't get out as much as she should. So we had a nice time. The food was great.
What'd you have?
Yeah, I had the salmon with a kind of a creamy horseradish sauce, and they were serving stuffing with everybody's meal, including the turkey. They had a limited menu because of the holiday. Right. I forget everything. The mashed potatoes were, you wonder how they can taste so good. I mean, I love potatoes anyway, but. They were great. Chris in the kitchen mashing the potatoes. He's the youngest, so he's the potato masher.
He does the front work.
Yeah, he does the good. Yeah, so just pleasant atmosphere, and the view of course over the lake is different because it's frozen, and people were arriving on snowmobiles and
coming off the lake.
Yeah, coming off the lake. I was surprised because I'd be hesitant though it's been so warm.
Yeah.
But they seem to be coming without a problem, so, or at least they made it. Whether they made it back, I could not say because I didn't stick around long enough. Yeah, you can't get out of the wires? Oh, okay. We have Chippy the Wonder Dog under the table, keeping us company, and Laura the Wonder Girl, the official granddaughter of the show with no name. Laura's off to Boston shortly because
the Red Sox are home.
No,
not yet.
No, they're in Toronto this weekend. We should be going that way. No, because they're off this week, so they're going to visit my daughter Louisa, and my brother Sean and his wife have this little side business where they do several times a year. They do these consignments of children's clothing. Called Outfit the Kids, and it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is the weekend, so they're gonna go help out Aunt Lisa. You would think that'd be enough to drive you crazy, but it's a neat concept. They rent out hotel space, and they get. Well, let's face it, little kids' clothes are generally in pretty good shape because they go
don't
out of
last-
them
that's
faster
right.
than they can wear them out.
Absolutely,
So it's really ideal all the way around. So it's the people putting the stuff on consignment make some money. My brother and sister-in-law make some money. The kids have decent clothes, and when they're done with them, they can come back in a couple of years.
Oh, that's nice.
And then they link, they give away gift certificates to things pertinent to people with little kids, I guess. Yeah. I said to pick up some ties for me if you see them, but they said, no, they don't carry ties, Daddy. The kids don't wear ties. No. Anyway, so there we are. So everybody's asking, when are we going back on the radio?
When are we going back on the radio?
I think this coming week, but I don't know when.
One day.
1 day or 2 days, or I don't know. Okay, Chippy. Okay, be careful, Chip. Okay, good dog. All right. There we go. We solved that problem. Those of you who watched last week's program, it ended somewhat abruptly as Chip knocked the camera over as we were saying goodbye. What was I started to say something
about the show.
Oh, going on the show. So we'll be back on WCSS. Probably Monday or Tuesday.
1490, right?
1490. Also at 1490WCSS.com when they managed to get the streamer going, which I guess wasn't today or yesterday, or some people are
It
complaining.
sounds like they're trying to line up a lot of people for a talk show all week,
Well, that's the idea. The idea is to fill the 10 to 12 slot every day. So we'll do our part,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure.
They have Curtis.
He's on
Diane.
Wednesday and Thursday.
I think Diane Hessenbuehler is supposed to come on.
Oh, Diane's coming back? All right.
I thought I heard that. Someone else was supposed to come on. Can't think of who.
Well, there's other names being mentioned, but I'm not going to throw them out there because I don't know. I'd just be making it up. Something we never do on the show.
Oh no, this is.
Everything is backed by fact, Jack.
Wow. Anyway, let's get the fluff out of the way. Yankees, Red Sox.
2 out of 3.
I gotta say, well, look. I mean, the Yankees at this point are barely above being a AAA team, or maybe they're not. But having said that, their first 2 starting pitchers didn't look all that hot either. I mean, and they're the real thing. So
It's tough playing 40-degree weather as a pitcher. Get loose.
Sabathia. But Red Sox have always had Sabathia's number, even when he was with Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
Before that, even when he was in his prime with Cleveland, I was at a game, one of the playoff games. One year, remember they were down, I think they were down 3-0 to Cleveland, or no, it couldn't have been 3-0 to Cleveland, and they came back and won the next 4 like they did against the Yankees, or maybe it was 3-1. Might have been 3-1 at that point. I forget, but Sabathia comes to pitch in Fenway, and they just creamed him. Of course, I was there with my magic rosary.
I watched the one game, and the first few innings they had 4 pitchers. 3 or 4 pitchers.
Well,
that's the second game.
Well, yeah, I said, you can't really judge. Who was the Japanese?
Kuroda.
You can't really judge his performance on the basis of that game because he did get hurt and then walked 3 guys and hit two others after that or something like that. But so that's not really fair. But gee, Sabathia, he got creamed. He got legitimately creamed.
Lester pitched very
Lester pitched very well, and Buchholz pitched. All right, Laura, out of the picture. Come on. Pitched. He pitched with his head instead of his whatever it is, because early in the season he's always emotional and gets screwed up. His April ERA is something like 8.3 or something like that in career. And yet he's capable of being a tremendous pitcher. I mean, he pitched a no-hitter in his second appearance ever.
In the rookie year.
What I really like is the young guys. Iglesias, who's always been a great shortstop, but they've only brought him up sporadically from Pawtucket because he can't hit, they say. He's now, going into last night's game, he was hitting like 560 or something. And really terrific fielder.
Yeah,
and this Bradley kid who they got playing second left field.
They brought him up from Double-A.
Wow. Yeah, he never even played AAA. He just whoever expects that? He goes through the spring training with like a 460 batting average, and they say, well, how can we send him down? So they keep him there, and what's impressive is not only his talent, but he's so relaxed. Here's a guy who's never played at that level before, and he's up there like he's been doing it all his life.
In Yankee Stadium. They were talking last night about Farrell and the guys he brought over from Toronto with him. Is Tuck still with the Sox?
No, Tuck retired in the offseason. They never really said what that was all about. He said it was for personal reasons, having nothing to do with the ball club. So, I always thought that he and Farrell got along very well. They seemed to be a good team while Farrell was the pitching coach and he was the bullpen coach. Obviously, they were working hand in glove, so to speak. But no,
He's not there. Okay.
he retired. I imagine he's probably got a pretty decent retirement plan.
Yeah, I'm sure. He's probably smart. And
so I don't know. I don't know where he's living. I think he's living in Florida or someplace down south. So that's it. That's all I know about Tuck. I keep following Braden Kaptine, who was with the Mohawks a few years ago. I don't know why he got drafted by the Sox. He's played with the Lowell Spinners at A level for the last couple of seasons. But when he was with the Mohawks, he led the league in pitching, and he led the league in hitting. So the first thing that jumps into my head is National League, right? and he wasn't drafted by a National League team. He was drafted by the Sox, and they've just had him as a pitcher. And I guess he's done fairly well, but he's still kind of lingering down there. And I don't think the Spinners start till like July or something like that.
Start late. See, Cappy Wells got optioned out to the.
Yeah.
He what?
Wells got sent down to the minors. Cappy
Wells.
Casper Wells.
He did.
Seattle, yeah. He's not on the roster.
Well,
he got sent
the
down.
story was that he had run out of options. That they had run out of options with him, and that they were going to put him on the block and put in Jason Bay in his place. Did they get Jason Bay?
Yes, they did.
All right, so they pick up Jason Bay. Well, the important thing about this is that the Sox are interested in him.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. That was the story before what you just tell me happened. That the Red Sox were looking to pick him up, and I think that would be just wonderful. Because
get him back home.
Because Casper is a second cousin, twice removed to the official granddaughter of the show with no name.
Right.
Who was just in the room a moment ago.
Right. So that'd be nice having him back.
That family tree is amazing. He is related to so many people, Casper. Because they've been in Amsterdam a long time, that family. And you remember Dave Collins? He's now a doctor down in Pennsylvania someplace.
Yeah.
And also an official tour guide at Gettysburg Park. He's a friend of mine on Facebook, and so his mother's still alive. She's pushing 101. Florence Collins used to be a teacher at Roman Avenue, and
wow.
Yeah, turned 100 last year. So he pops up every once in a while to see Mom. Anyway, where was I going with that? He's related to Wells, going back. I don't know how many, and the Petruccians are related to him as well, going back at the same distance, like
Really?
great-great-grandparents. They share great-great-grandparents. And Norma Petruccione is married to Brent Bazell, the columnist, whose mother was a Buckley from the William F. Buckley Jr. family. So the Buckleys and the Wellses and the Goings are all related there. So
Where do you find such men?
In truth, I'm no blood relative at all, but Laura is. So,
There you go.
So, Laura gets it from the other side.
Close enough.
She gets it from the Patitucci side.
Close enough for government work.
Close enough for a guy who occasionally runs for public office. Cousin, my cousin, dear cousin, my dear cousin.
There you go.
Anyway, Casper's a nice kid. I'd love to see him come to Boston. Obviously, the Yankees would be interested in him too, but I don't think they can have two Wells in the outfield. It would be too confusing. And the ball goes to Wells, and Wells is coming over, and Wells is coming over, and they collide. You know?
That's what used to happen when the Celtics played the Sixers, because you had Wally Jones,
Casey
Jones, and Sam Jones.
Oh, and Sam Jones.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Jones would pass to Jones would
intercepted
stole the ball.
by Jones.
Yes. Yeah. And that's when the only game on TV every week was the Celtics and 76ers.
Boy, those were
against
glory
Chamberlain.
days, weren't they? Oh man, that was good
And
basketball.
once in a while you get the Lakers coming through to play one of those teams. But that was the only game.
And
in
Jerry
town.
West did win it at the buzzer. You know.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
So that's
You see the news yesterday that
Oh, Jim, welcome to the show.
the Mavericks are looking at that girl player.
that's all publicity. The player, the girl from Baylor, she's 6'8".
She's
6'8".
6'8". Yeah, she can dunk it. They show her dunking it a few times in games.
her arm span is wider than James LeBron's.
Her hand is bigger
Her
than
hand
LeBron's.
is bigger, and also her span.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just
what?
but like she's about 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem when you get at that level.
Well, they interviewed another woman coach, and
Yeah.
she said no way. She said no way she's going to make it in the pros because she's too
She'll be
light.
unconscious.
Yeah, she's too light. She
Too
says
light. And then they were also talking whether she'd even be able to play at men's D1 basketball. It's the disparity is so great when you look at the size and the speed of these guys.
Cuban will bring her on just to give her a,
that's what he
give her a
said.
shot,
A little publicity for
little
himself and
publicity
her.
for him and the team. You know, put her in there for a couple seconds.
I can't believe they would do that for publicity.
Yeah, he
Cuban?
would. Oh, yeah, he would.
He's the
Actually, there's a girl.
laid
Isn't
back.
there a girl playing football at the fairly high level, kicker or something?
Yeah.
They had a
Well, no, she played college.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, she didn't make the pros because she couldn't kick the ball at practice. At
the
combine.
tryouts. She kicked what, 15 yards?
Yeah, combine. She 15 yards and went up in the air and come down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then she pulled a quad or something, and that was the end of that. That was the end of that.
But
Wow.
give her.
Do you remember how far Courtney Lee could kick the ball when he was in high school?
Oh, absolutely.
His kickoffs would go over the goalposts, almost universally. You know, almost every time he kicked off, it was way out of the. It was
Yeah.
down by the maintenance building down there.
And he was a goalie on the soccer team.
Oh. And then he played in the band. He'd switch uniforms at halftime, and instead of going into the locker room, he'd come out and play in the band, and then to change uniforms and go back on the football
Take
field.
his shirt off,
Oh man!
march in the band with his pants on.
And he sold hot dogs.
Yeah, he's still
He's an
around.
all-around man.
What's that?
He's still around here.
I see his mother periodically. I haven't seen Courtney in quite a long time. But nice kid. I used to coach him in Little League. Nice kid. I think he must have been with one of my boys in one of their classes. 2001, 2002, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think too. Yeah, and his dad's still around because his dad coached the JV soccer team for a while at the high school. Yeah.
Nice family.
Yeah.
Nice family.
Yeah.
Where were we going with that? Oh, we were talking about the girl
Casper.
kicking.
Yes.
Basketball. Here's my theory, and I'm going to leave it at this. I've always been of the opinion that there ought to be a professional basketball league of normal-sized people. Because let's face it, the NBA is filled with people who, if there wasn't basketball, would be in freak shows.
Yeah.
Laura, watch out, honey. You're pulling on the wires.
There should be a league for every 6 foot should be the tallest player.
I think I think you ought to limit it to the tallest guy on the team should be like 6'5", maybe 6'6", and tops. Like a Bill Brassonis, and that's it. Because we saw a lot of great basketball games in our youth.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And there were no 7-footers playing in the Parochial League or in the Class A League.
No, there's some big guys. Sid Edwards was a big boy.
Pat Riley and Tim Kolodziej were both
6'4".
They were both All-Americans, but neither one of them was freaky size, and Riley made it into the pros.
And Kramer, Barry Kramer.
I remember.
Same way.
Was it? He played. Yeah. I mean, Kramer's tall, but he's not freaky tall.
No.
Although I remember one time before he became a judge, he appeared in front of me in city court, and I'm way up on the bench, and he's looking at me square in the eye. Nice. He was Bill Bradley's roommate in college. Yeah.
Oh, Kramer was NYU. Bradley was Princeton.
Now maybe it wasn't college. It was they were both with the Knicks together. That's what it was.
Is that okay?
They were both with the Knicks at the same time. Yeah. So they knew each other well. Back when Bradley was running for president, I was chatting with Kramer and his wife about Bill, our old friend Bill. Whatever happened to him? He kind of disappeared, didn't he? After he left the Senate.
Yeah.
He's not that old a guy. You'd think he would have stayed involved. Well, anyway. And speaking of high school basketball. Okay, give me a kiss. Have a good time.
Bye.
Bye-bye, honey. On April 20th, any old excuse for a party, there's going to be an all-alumni party at St. Mary's Institute of both St. Mary's and Bishop Scully grads from every era.
Really?
The excuse is to honor Dutch Holland upon being admitted into the New York State Basketball Hall of Fame. But it's really just an excuse for a party. So that's April 20th from 11 to 3. There's going to be like a ceremonial stuff from 11 to 12, and then just open.
Is that a Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
They had one of those
open mix
years ago.
It's been a long time, actually. They had a St. Mary's reunion on the 125th. Actually, it was the 125th anniversary, so that would have been 2005, I think, or 2006. I forget. I'm still using the cup from that event. We got a bunch of them because there was some left over. Pays to have a
so it's
wipe
for all
on
the alumni
back
of
of
either
it.
school.
Everybody's invited. They just ask that you call the school to let them know you're coming, so they know how much food to cook. But it's sounds like a great time. Do you remember the party when they were tearing down the old St. Mary's, the Forbes Street building? That was like the greatest party this city has ever seen. They had the old building dated from 1916 or something like that, Dugan Hall and all that.
See, I always thought it was Dungeon Hall.
Yeah. Well, Dugan donated all the money for the school, so.
That's why it was his hall.
I left it in his will, I think is what it was. Patrick Dugan.
The gym that was never used.
Well, not much, no. It wasn't used as a gym. Not much.
Oh.
Occasionally they practice in there, I guess.
The CYO, yeah. We CYO used to be a real going affair in the city of Amsterdam. Every church had a team. A Catholic church had a team, and St. Mary's had two. And
the seventh graders and eighth
graders, right. And the first year we were the Knights, we were in seventh grade, and the Gales were the eighth grade team. And the very first game that we as seventh graders played was against the Gales.
You're playing against Jimmy Labatt and Joe Bialabach. Who else?
Cushing.
Joey Cushing, yeah.
Okay. And the final score? 88-6.
Who had the 6?
Tom Murphy had 2 of them. I think Tony Sardonia had 2 of them.
Tony Sardonia, he was about 4 feet tall in the 7th grade.
Yeah, and I don't know, I think it's either Baker or
Must have been a good
Riley.
outsider shot. Jeff Baker was a good ball player, so
Yeah.
he
So
probably got 2 points.
We got hammered. And we spent 2 years, became 8th graders, we were still the Knights and the Gales, we were down to 7th grade, so they rotated them through. And we played 33 games in CYO basketball. Oh, and 33.
Whoa. Over a 2-year period?
Over a 2-year period. You know, we never won a game until we were 9th graders.
Oh my God! Of course, St. Stanislaus had Bill Wojcik, and St. Joe's had Mark Albright. But
The two tough teams we played were St. John's and St. Stephen's. St. Stephen's had Buddy Flesh.
oh yeah, I forgot those guys were playing too.
He played up there. Him and Butchie Farrell were up there. And St. John's was Saffron
and
Rick
Tom
Bean,
Saffron.
Tommy Saffron and Rick Bean. And St. Joe's was Orapello and Doug Jackson. Mount Carmel was Ronnie Natal.
Oh, so the other teams had 7th and 8th graders together.
Mixed. Yeah.
Bunch of. Go.
Yeah.
Oh.
All the other churches were mixed because they didn't have enough kids like St. Mary's did.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jim. There you go.
Are we still? Yeah, so we're still recording.
St. Catherine's had
it's looking
Povolitis
for me.
and Gustus and
Oh.
Gatry.
Wow.
Yeah. It was tough. We took it on the chin for 2 years.
There was so much talent in that era that they couldn't. You know, we fielded 14 men teams at Bishop Scully, and there were guys like Gary Wojcik had to play JVs as juniors because there wasn't any room for him on the team.
And then you also remember too that the church league, the Protestant church
Protestant league too.
They used to play
the
down
YMCA church league,
and they had some great players as well. So you're right, there was a lot of talent. Of course, you played against a lot of tough talent playing in the Class A and the Parochial League.
I was astonished going through Mark Perfetti's Smug Mug pictures of that were old recorder photos that thousands of them that he's been putting online over the last few years.
Yeah.
To come across a photograph of a summer basketball league team from when, about the time you were in 7th grade, I was in 8th grade, right? No, I was in 7th grade because the team members were 7th and 8th graders, right? Mm-hmm. So the guys in my class were 7th grade. This team consisted of Joe Bialabuck, Mark Albright, Hank Kelly, Bill Dado. It was the entire, I think Bill Welly, it was the entire core of what became 4 years later the Scully's nearly undefeated team. Yeah. And I didn't even know these guys knew each other than to play against each other. They were playing together in 7th and 8th grade on the same team, so that when they finally got together in JVs in high school, they knew each other inside out.
Pretty good plan Dutch had, wasn't it?
How the hell did he do that?
Yeah.
And they used to actually, even when we were in high school, those guys played together in the summer leagues.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore, do we? We have summer basketball leagues?
No, and they really
They're trying.
only starting to get the CYO, the youth basketball back to the way it was. I mean, your numbers aren't there, and it's just it's not as easy getting kids to, because they're
Well, there aren't that
involved
many
in so
kids.
things.
I mean, there's half as many kids as there were back then, if that.
No, in the rec league that played in the wintertime, you had all the college guys that come back and play
Right.
in the rec league.
Right.
Setner and T-Bout and all those guys were playing in the rec league. We played up at the Armory in rec, and it was a going concern. It was
Then there was the over 30 league, where you had guys who used to be great still playing.
and eventually the over 30 league really became
The over 50 league, and then the over 60 league.
Yeah, there weren't any of those guys playing anymore. They were all in their 20s and 30s, and that's kind of what plays up at FM now. They have a league up there. All the guys in their 20s who played ball here are up there. Setner played and up there, and Baslow and some of those guys. So it's going on, but not to the extent it was. You know, you could drive around the city, and every yard that had a basket was being used.
Yeah.
You've only got a couple places at the parks that you see kids playing unorganized basketball. It's
And then they end up
everything-
stabbing each other afterwards.
every-
That's,
it's all back then it was unorganized. Now it's, if you don't have an adult running something, kids don't play. And not being a psychologist has been my opinion that because of that,
well, you're an amateur psychologist. So.
I'm an amateur, a lot of things, really bad amateur, that because kids don't play unorganized activities regularly, they never learn how to settle disagreements amongst themselves.
Right.
Everything now is organized by an adult, and they want the adult to solve it.
Right.
And that permeates right through the schools.
Right.
Where something happens, the parents want you to solve the issue, regardless of what it is, as opposed
That's
to letting
interesting.
kids working it out because they don't have that experience. We play at the Four Diamonds.
Well, I was
Every day.
gonna say that
Every
there's
day
no
in the
there's no
summer.
umpire. You had to call your balls and strikes yourselves and decide whether the ball lands fair or foul.
If you're safe or you're out on the beer box that you're using for first base,
Yeah.
you know, you'd have to catch the bat and work your way
Right.
up to get your picks for the team. And
I always got
you
picked last
learn.
for some reason.
They save the best for last.
Is that what it is?
I absolutely believe that's true. And kids learn how to do things on their own and to settle things and organize things. They don't have that opportunity
have
now because every kid plays on a basketball team with a coach. They play all their ball games, baseball games with a coach and an umpire to settle all their differences. So they don't learn themselves. It's just like a parent who never allows a child to fail, to accept responsibility, never learns to be responsible for anything that they do. It's always somebody else,
It's
not
like
themselves.
family court.
Well,
No, I seriously.
yeah.
That was really a crummy job, I got to tell you. Family court judge it was the best paying and crummiest job I ever had in my life.
real hard.
How ridiculous is it for me, who knows nothing about these people, to decide the most important issues of their lives, right?
That's the way it is.
Well, how are we going to decide this? I said, how would you decide it if you were married and living together? One of you's got to go this place, one of you's got to go that place, and you have to work it out. That's all. Work it out.
And they don't want
They
to
don't-
because
they
if
don't
it
know
doesn't
how
work
to-
out, they want to be able to have somebody to blame besides
That's
themselves.
right.
They
That's
don't know how-
right.
they don't know how to
It's,
work it
well, why should it?
You know, and you just see that all the time.
A perfect example. Things were much worse down south. When I say down south, I mean Westchester County. I was down there for a month. It was around the time of the O.J. Simpson trial, so it had to be like 95, early
Right.
90, February 95, because I'd go home after a day in court and watch the O.J. Simpson trial in the hotel because there was nothing else for me to do. I didn't know anybody in Westchester County. Well, Sam Zerlo's daughter was the assistant manager of the hotel I was staying at, so she was the only person I sort of knew. She set me up a nice fruit and snack and cheese dish when I first got there, and I went down to thank her, and she says, "Yeah, I told the manager that you complained about the service, so we sent this." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much." Nice girl. Anyway, the very rich and the very poor had exactly the same problems in Westchester County. It was amazing, and if anything, the very rich were far more wacky than the very poor. The very poor people had their own reasons for, being the way they were. The very rich people were just nuts, just plain nuts. I had a case where the two parents just hated each other's guts. I won't go into all the details because I could just tell you one anecdote after another about this family. They were paying their lawyers $700 an hour. Wall Street lawyers coming up to White Plains or No, it wasn't White Plains. It was New Rochelle. To argue over stupid things. And at one point, I think we had resolved the issues of the trial, but the lawyers came to me and said the parties were still living together in the same house.
Where are the roses?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. In fact, they showed it that they showed the excerpts from that movie to us in judge training class.
Did they?
Yeah, exactly. They wanted me to decide who gets the master bedroom and who gets a guest bedroom. The issue was not before me, mind you. They just couldn't resolve it. They said they don't care what your decision is, but they can't make the decision themselves.
Wow.
Who gets to sleep in the master bedroom and who gets to sleep in the guest bedroom? I said, first of all, I said, are you kidding me? These people had to argue over who got which shelf in the refrigerator. Seriously. So I said, you're just putting this to me, and whatever I decide, right? Right. I said, okay. The wife gets the master bedroom, and the husband gets a guest bedroom. Well, why should she get the master bedroom?
And if you done it the other way, they would have said
Exactly.
the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
as an emotion, there's a very fine line between love and hate. And once the emotion goes to hate, it's as strong as any love that ever existed. But it burns deeper and it burns longer, and you want somebody else to burn with you.
What did William Congreve say in the early 1700s?
Hey, matey.
No,
No.
he said, heaven hath no rage like love to hatred turned, nor hell a fury like a woman scorned. Right?
Yeah.
Heaven hath no rage like love to hatred turned.
That's your observation.
And boy,
You saw it.
this was the early days where only rich people had cars with where the engines would automatically start up. Like Jim Nikosha,
Yeah.
where where you can warm your car up before.
Before you go out.
Okay, I had a wealthy couple in suburban Westchester County. Probably $1 million home, and the couple split up, and the wife got the car, but the husband kept a set of keys, right? He drives by at 2 o'clock in the morning while the car is parked in the attached garage, starts the car up so that the house will fill with carbon monoxide fumes.
Oh, wow.
I swear to God. It's almost a perfect crime. And they drive by 2 hours later and shut it off. Fortunately, she caught on and didn't die, but yeah, just drive down the street, start the car up, come back later when they're dead, and then your fingerprints aren't anywhere. You haven't touched a thing.
Never went on the property.
Some bitch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's still happening down there in Westchester now with the Democrats trying to buy the.
I wonder how much of a tip of the iceberg we're seeing here. First of all, you've got. Are we running out of time here? We started about 10 after, I think. Okay, we got a lot of time. We're talking about the latest scandal where the state senator tries to buy his way onto the Republican ticket to run for mayor of New York. And he needs the permission of 3 out of the 5 boroughs to do that. And he had already paid off 2 of them and was working on the 3rd when they're caught, and the FBI was working undercover with it. And
he's a Democrat,
right?
And he's paying off the Republicans.
Well, yes, because right, and nobody can really figure out whether he thinks he has a chance of winning the Republican primary. Because why would the Republicans vote for him? But anything's possible,
Money talks.
Well, I guess today they
But is,
arrested somebody else, another
Yes.
senator?
Well, I sort of think this might be related. There was an assemblyman resigned yesterday, other than this
other
one,
one,
who was a state senator.
Smith.
And I think this might be related because they did say that there was a guy who had turned state's evidence and had been secretly indicted and had pled guilty that was involved in the first case, which also included bribing the mayor of Spring Valley.
Yeah.
You know, you always tell when these people are Democrats because the news stories don't mention it. You know, they'll mention over and over the Republicans who are involved, but if they're a Democrat, they don't get mentioned.
Yeah, no, the Post-
Even in the
Post
same
had a
story,
big-
even in the same story, the fact that he's wants the Republican nomination, and that
Yeah.
these two other Republicans are arrested in the process.
same thing he
That's
said.
the only mention he gets mentioned. But with the bribery involving the Democrat mayor of Spring Valley, not mentioned at all.
Yeah. Well, they had her picture in the Post the other day.
Well, the Post is more inclined to do that. But anyway, this could just be the tip of the iceberg because Lord only knows. An incredible number of state senators have been indicted over the last 5 or 6 years. It's something like 10% of the body.
You know there's got to be more because you've got folks running for an office that pay $75,000, $85,000 a year. They'll invest several millions of dollars to get the position. So where's the money coming back on the other end? Through these scams. I mean, that's why they're in there to make the money.
They're trying to figure out what the real motivation is because nobody expects that this guy was going to actually become mayor of New York. Obviously, that's worth a bundle if you're the mayor. You got all kinds of stuff at your disposal, contracts and everything else. If you're a crook, it's terrific.
It's better than having a job.
But one of the suggested motivations, I believe that in New York City, there's public financing of elections. So if you get the nomination, even if you're, the Republicans are like a third party down in New York City. Seriously, I mean, if you're running on the Republican line, you might as well be working on the Socialist Worker Libertarian Party for the number of votes you're going to get. But if you have access to public funding, then all your relatives are on your campaign payroll and being paid for out of the tax dollars of the people of New York City. City legislators get paid extraordinary amounts of money down there for doing absolutely nothing except being rubber stamps. We're talking close to 6 figures, if not 6 figures, they're getting these days.
And didn't we learn in school public office is a public trust?
Yeah, public office is public trust. Well, it never was in New York City.
Now what it is public office is a public
trough.
Very good.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a public trough. Very good.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Eat off the public trough there.
You know, the history of New York City has been this way from the beginning. You would have long stretches of thoroughly corrupt government, Tammany Hall and Boss Tweed and Abram O.K. Hall and all those guys. And who was that famous political philosopher in the 19th century? I forget.
Nast?
I don't know. I forget his name. But anyways, there'd be long stretches of thoroughly corrupt government. And then when the public had enough, the reformers would come in. And they'd last a little while.
Not too long.
Not too long, enough to straighten out things for a little while. But the public really doesn't like the reformers because basically they're not getting anything. They're not getting what they wanted either.
They're not getting anything out of the deal.
I think it was Ambrose Bierce in his, probably in his the Devil's Dictionary. Great piece of work, by the way. If you've never read Ambrose Bierce's Devil's Dictionary, read it because it defines things like alderman. And, sorry, Jim. Anyway, he talks about the difference between Republicans and Democrats is the Democrats share some of what they steal. Anyway, I guess it comes down to what Huey Long said. Someday the people of Louisiana will have honest government, and they won't like it.
Because they don't get anything out of it.
Yeah. You know, you always rail about corrupt government unless you're getting something from it. Then it's okay.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, the whole crony capitalism thing and all that.
Well, he's trying to get that second, third term in there by giving back 5% of his pay.
How about eliminating one vacation a year instead of the 12 they're taking now?
That's so his wife can take an extra $1 million vacation.
It must be nice to be able to ship your kids off to Idaho to ski with
Wow.
or Colorado, wherever they are. You know, with remember what was it, Mexico? They went a couple of years ago with they took their whole class and enough Secret Service agents to choke a horse. If that's your idea of a good time.
No.
Speaking of Secret Service agents. Did you see what Obama said yesterday about the Attorney General in California?
Absolutely.
Far and away the best looking Attorney General in the country.
Yeah.
What?
He's got
Can you imagine George Bush saying that?
Obama's got no filter
Yeah.
for what he says,
All right.
and nobody hears what he says.
I don't know. Are we just numbed the whole thing? Or?
Yeah, well, that's the point. It's so far out of whack that he gets.
And by the way, why I say speaking of Secret Service agents is because my comment is he's full of crap. The best looking Attorney General in the country is Catherine Cortez Masto, who's she married to? Paul Jr.
Yeah.
Married to former Secret Service agent from Amsterdam.
Yeah. He is, we had him as a speaker when you were at the high school for graduation. It was really interesting.
She's a very nice lady. I met her at one of the Galway Players shows because Paul's mother, Tilda Masto, was a piano player for like 30 years for the Galway Players, and she was doing her last show, and so they came in from Nevada, and very, very pretty lady, very smart, and very nice. She was most pleasant, and every bit as good looking as the Attorney General of California. So you know, you immediately offend 49 others, and probably offend the one you're talking about at the same time. It's great.
Not gonna make any difference.
But he's probably never going to run for anything again. Why should he?
We should hope he doesn't.
Why? No, thank God he's so lazy because his policies are awful.
Well, the last few days, there's been several articles on his Obamacare costs.
Oh, just
they're starting to reveal that it's going to cost a lot of money.
as we predicted very early on the show with No Name.
And they denied everything, but now it's all coming out by the statisticians and the.
I don't know how you can avoid it. Everybody's noticing in their paychecks, and it's just going to get worse.
But it's not a tax.
Huh?
It's not a tax, so it don't matter.
It's interesting that there is a.
I got fined yesterday. I got fined yesterday by the state. $50
for.
I filed my tax late, my business tax late, by a day.
I thought you didn't have any business last year.
I didn't, but I still had the tax number, so I still got to file the papers.
Well, protest it. If there's nothing to file, you don't have to file. You don't have to file it.
Yeah, you do. As long as you still have the tax number.
Well, I don't think so.
I should.
You have to protest it.
I should have called you before I.
Oh, you sent the $50 in? What's the matter with you? You just wait. They'll ignore it.
Send them
They have
$50 in pennies.
They have no enforcement procedures for that.
Unwrap pennies. Ship them down.
You know, I had this disputed Easy Pass thing one time. The thing doesn't work. It occasionally doesn't work when you're going through the toll booth for reasons that have nothing to do with you, because it works the next exit. You know, and I ignored it, and nothing ever happened. This was like 10 years ago. Yeah.
Well, I got.
I don't think they enforce them at all. I think if you go through without the Easy Pass, they'll send you a letter, but nothing ever happened.
Oh, yeah.
We went down to the Bonnie Bray Scottish Games 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we have to go down and get off on exit 17.
Right.
And to me, it's confusing because it's open down there, and which ones you go through with a ticket, which I had, and which one's an Easy Pass.
Right.
Well, apparently I missed it, and I went through the Easy Pass, and I had the money to pay, but all right,
There's no place to pay.
So we got a letter from them
Yeah.
that we owed,
Right.
I don't know, $550 plus $50 plus,
Right.
it's like $150. I said, whoa. So one of the gals who daughter is
And so you don't have Easy Pass to begin with?
we don't have Easy Pass.
Okay.
I went through the wrong one. So
Right.
we
And now, are you in New Jersey or New York at this point?
we're in New Jersey,
Okay.
and then we come back through. We go through right lane, get the ticket. But how do you change the ticket going the route we don't? So we got a letter from them telling us we owe like $150, and we sent a letter of protest in saying, here's the ticket we went through with, here's the money that we're supposed to pay, thank you very much. And that they took it. We didn't have to pay the extra on there.
Wow.
But it was, I don't know, I just thought we didn't have to pay the way it went. It's confusing down there for country boys.
But I guess my point is, if you ignored it altogether,
what would they do? I don't know.
they'd do nothing, especially if you're in New Jersey. They can't even suspend your license or registration.
I don't know.
That's a...
But anytime you deal with the government, it's intimidating for me.
Oh, it is.
They're
Well, that's the point.
You know.
They claimed that they had sent me 3 notices that it was coming up, but a lot of stuff I get, you delete it because it looks like a spam, or it looks
Right.
like
Or it goes directly to spam.
yeah,
Yeah. You don't know.
So this one I answered.
I said, aha.
Boy. Well, as a taxpayer in the state of New York, I thank you.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured you would. So,
Yeah.
I got so. teed
Oh,
up.
so because you get a sales tax number? Was that?
Yeah.
See, now here's a... I occasionally sell some books. And the way it works out is that the books come from North Carolina, but because they're from Amazon, and Amazon has a presence in New York, you owe sales tax in New York unless you have a sales tax number for resale. And and that was my intention to do that. But just as you say, once you do that, you're stuck with 1,000 forms to fill out a year for the sale of 6 books. Well, not that I only sell 6 books, but we're in a lull at this point.
As an explanation.
And
The market's been saturated.
so if you don't do that, then you pay the sales tax up front. They collect the sales tax on the sale of the books from the wholesaler. That's a hell of a lot easier, to tell you the truth.
Yes, it is.
I pay it and let the
Well, see, I had to because
and let my resellers take care of the
because of the company I was dealing with. They insisted I have a business name. and a
right,
tax
right,
number.
right, right. A federal ID number and all that. Yeah.
So this year I'll just turn everything in.
Oh yeah, I had I get the federal ID number when I opened my law office in 1981, and for the until I became a full-time judge, I was filling out these quarterly census things, and they were all these surveys, and then they call, if you don't send it in, they call you up. Well, you haven't sent it in? No. I said, I can say this because we're not on the radio. It's bullshit. I said, nevertheless, you're required to do this, or we're going to, and they probably would. I'm the guy they would come after.
Yeah.
See, it's part of these unfunded mandates of
man.
things. The guy I used to work for our pipe band has a Piper's Dojo. It's a business that he has that they do lessons with, and they do things on the internet for pipe instruction, and they sell stuff. And we were down there the other day picking up a new bag for Misha's pipes, and he's got a wall the size of this your wall over here, and it's got nothing but all these notices. You
Right.
have to have,
Right.
if you have more than 10 employees, if you got to provide this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all.
If you have one employee, you have to post
this
it.
stuff. Absolutely, and it's
Yeah.
like, you gotta be kidding me.
And then they come by and check.
Yeah, and they charge you to have those posters.
Right, right.
It's ludicrous.
It is.
The amount of paperwork to do any business, to do anything.
My son used to have a federal firearms
Oh boy.
license. He about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, he gave it up. He says, it cost him more than what he could make in a year.
Just to file the forms.
Just to file the forms
Yeah.
and have the inspection. He had to have a separate off-site bunker for black powder, and he could only have so much. It had to be at 50 feet from his building or some damn thing.
And I wonder what kind of regulations now with the new safe gun law in place. What other restrictions in there that they haven't gotten down to figure out how difficult it's going to be for somebody.
The people who have guns. I don't know if you guys have guns, pistols.
I'm not going to tell you if I do.
No. Well, it doesn't matter.
I'll just wait till I see it in the paper.
I can go on the internet and find it. My son was there today.
Yeah?
He said that somebody called him and all the guys that he knew that had pistol permits was listed on the
On the site.
Yeah.
At least they didn't post a map where he lives on it.
They
Oh,
give- they give the
easily
address.
done. You get the addresses there, and you just map it. Yeah.
They give the address.
Anyway, I think we're done enough for this hour because you're working this afternoon, I assume. Right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So
Yes,
we
I am.
better. We're going to wrap this one up so we can start the second hour. Next hour, we're going to get into some local issues, I think, because there's quite a few of them floating around at the moment. So for now, I'm Bob Going with Jim Nicosia and Gavin Murdoch, and we'll be back shortly. But that's all, folks.